Every time you break your own word, something in your mind remembers. And after a while, it stops believing you. That's why you can be sitting there at 11:30 at night, scrolling on your phone, telling yourself, tomorrow, I'm gonna get serious. While another part of you quietly whispers, no, you're not. No, you're not. Just take a look at the last 6 months of your life. How many times did you restart the new diet, the workout plan, the budget, the routine, the new hobby? Maybe you even got momentum for a few weeks. Then that old version of you showed back up and took the wheel again. And the confusing part is most people think that this is laziness. But I don't. I think that there are a lot of people out there just forcing goals onto themselves without ever confronting the internal patterns that are working against them. And that internal war is destroying their ability to trust themselves. Because look around, people are drowning in self-improvement content, morning routines, dopamine detoxes, discipline podcast, productivity systems, motivational clips. It seems like everyone is consuming transformation content, but very few people are actually transforming. And really, social media has made this worse because now people are constantly absorbing other people's lives, other people's successes, and other people's goals. That's dangerous without ever stopping to ask, do I really want this? Because consuming information doesn't overpower who you really are. You can listen to discipline podcasts all day long, but if your emotional patterns are still built around avoidance, comfort, distraction, escape, you will eventually return to those patterns every single time. And after enough abandoned goals, something deeper starts breaking. Self-respect. Because eventually you stop seeing yourself as somebody that follows through. You become somebody that tries, not somebody that finishes. I know this because I've been through it too, even with this channel. And that identity shift, that's where people start giving up on themselves. There are nights that I felt completely locked in, like I had found something meaningful to build, something real, something that could really impact people's lives. And then there were other nights where I could feel myself slipping backward, avoiding scripts, and distracting myself with the new Netflix show, overthinking everything, and just letting inconsistency creep back in. So I had to confront something uncomfortable. Part of me was still emotionally attached to an older version of myself, the version that drifted, quit when things became difficult. That internal conflict is real. The Stoics reflected on this very topic. Epictetus said, no man is free who is not a master of himself. And honestly, he wasn't talking just about emperors and philosophers. He was talking about you sitting there, knowing exactly what you should be doing, while another part keeps pulling you somewhere else. That's the real fight. Not a fight against goals, a fight of internal disorder. Most goals do not fail because of effort. They fail because your true identity pulls harder than your intention does. Now, what do I mean by that? It means that your life will always move in the strongest emotional patterns that you have. Always. That's why motivation fades. And that's why people restart every January. And that's why people continue to return to the life that they consciously say that they want to escape from. Because you cannot build a new future while emotionally being loyal to the habits and patterns and identity that created your current one. And make no mistake about it, there is an internal war going on inside of you. And once I started paying attention, I noticed a few things destroying people before their goals ever had a real chance. A lot of people are chasing borrowed ambition, not chosen purpose. They absorbed a version of success from social media, comparison, status, and other people's expectations. And now they're chasing a life they never deeply connected with in the first place. Marcus Aurelius questioned this constantly, whether people were pursuing virtue or applause. Social media has turned that into a full-time career. And that's why some people quit when progress slows down, because the goal was never truly theirs. But even if the goal is yours, you're going to hit another wall almost immediately. Discomfort. Because growth feels uncomfortable fast. The mind wants familiar territory, easy dopamine, escape routes. Stoicism teaches involuntary discomfort for a reason, not for punishment, but for preparation. Because if you cannot sit in temporary discomfort, you will spend your whole life running back towards comfort the second life gets hard. And eventually people start building entire lives around emotional avoidance. That's a painful way to live. And then there's environment. People try to change their lives while staying emotionally chained to the same environments destroying them. The same distractions, the same habits, the same people, the same chaos. That's the war. But environment shapes behavior. Eventually, your environment wins. It always wins. And one day, people wake up 10 years later wondering why nothing changed, while still living inside the exact same patterns that kept them stuck. And underneath all of this, meaning. A lot of people are disconnected from meaning entirely. And without meaning, discipline eventually feels pointless. That's why shallow goals die so quickly. But purpose carries weight. Now you're no longer relying on motivation. Now your life has direction. So maybe the problem isn't that you're lazy. Maybe you're divided. Maybe a part of you wants growth, while another part of you is terrified of change. Maybe you don't actually want the life attached to the goal. Maybe you only want the image of it, the applause, the identity, the validation. Maybe that's why consistency feels impossible. Because deep down, part of you is still emotionally loyal to staying the same. The Stoics never taught people to wait for motivation. They taught people to build character, strong enough to act regardless of mood. That's different, and the difference changes everything. Tonight, write down a goal that you keep failing at. Then ask yourself, did you truly want the life required to achieve this? Or did you just want the feeling attached with the outcome? Then ask yourself one more thing. What patterns inside me keep pulling me back towards the old version of myself? Because awareness comes before change. A lot of people spend their lives trying to force discipline onto an identity they never stop to examine. And then they call themselves a failure when it doesn't work. But your life is shaped by what you repeatedly do, not what you occasionally try. And if you never confront the patterns ruling your inner world, you will keep rebuilding the same life externally forever. Because the future that you want cannot be built by a version of you that's still emotionally committed to staying the same.